welcome all our esteemed guests, delegates, and filmmakers to this first inaugural edition of Doc Film Bazaar. The Doc Film Bazaar is initiated with an aim to provide a vibrant, interactive, to foster collaboration between established professionals and emerging talents within the documentary and animal film industry. This inaugural edition promises to be a landmark event shaping the future of documentary filmmaking in South Asia and beyond. MIF 2024 and the Documentary Film Bazaar stand poised to empower exceptional storytelling and amplify the voices of documentary filmmakers, ensuring their captivating narratives that reach the world. Today, we mark the beginning of the Doc Film Bazaar with the co-production Open Pitches. We received 63 remarkable projects from 10 countries and 29 languages. Out of this, we had to make a very difficult choice of selecting 16 projects. The lineup we bring to you represents a rich tapestry of narrative from across different cultures and regions originating from various countries, which includes India, UK, US, Russia, Switzerland, and Nepal. We would like to thank our evaluators who have given their valuable time and expertise in helping us pitch this project. Without any further ado, we shall go ahead with the open pitches. Over to you, production team. Let's get this started.
A very good afternoon, everybody. Myself, Ishan Harsh, the senior programmer for the co-production market.
And I'm Ruchika Gupta, junior programmer, co-production market.
We are delighted to see you, everybody, at the co-production market open pitch. The co-production market is a crucial platform for independent filmmakers to find the suitable co-producers to associate with their project in the form of, but not limited to, financial support, but the local assistance and post-production facilities. The open pitch session gives opportunity to these filmmakers to present and connect with national and international fraternity to find financial and creative collaborations.
Request everyone to kindly keep their phones on silent and please avoid talking during the presentation. We have a first project, Aravan Koot, Performance of Life, directed by Sriraj Rajiv S. and produced by Dr. Anupama KP. Can we have the video pitch, please?
Hi, I'm Sriraj Rajiv from Kerala, India. I bought this small idol of Aravan, a warrior prince from the epic Mahabharata, after my first visit to Kuvagam, a rural village in the state of Tamil Nadu in 2015. Aravan, also known as Kotandavar, was born from the union of Pandava prince Arjuna and Ulupi, a serpent princess. In the battle of Kurukshetra, he was chosen to make life sacrifice for the victory of Pandavas. Aravan agreed, but with 3 conditions. Even after the sacrifice, he wanted to fight the war and die heroically in the battlefield. Then he wanted to see the entire battle. The third wish was to get married. Since no one was ready to marry a man about to die, Lord Krishna assumed as the enchantress Mohini and wedded him. The 18-day-long Kuvagam festival reenacts Aravan's wishes, and the third wish necessitates the participation of trans women.
I'm Anupama from Kerala, India. It was in 2015 that I ventured to Kuvagam for the first time, embarking on a journey as a PhD student enrolled at Hyderabad Central University. Kuvagam, a quaint village, was seen encircled by 4 streets, lined with small huts and paddy fields, with a temple standing at its center. I stayed in the village, immersing myself in the local life. Over the next 3 years during the festival seasons, I conducted ethnographic fieldwork in Kuvagam. This experience provided inspiration for our documentary Aravan Koot, Performance of Life. In the festival, thousands of trans women gather in the village. Every corner of the village resonates with their loud laughter, dancing and singing. On the 15th day of the festival, trans women and men dressed as women tied a nuptial knot with temple priests representing Aravan. Then the trans women engage in sexual union with men. The next day, As the festival plays the rhythm of Aravan, trans women break the nuptial knot, enact widowhood and leave the festival. Koot or dance has an overwhelming presence throughout the festival. It carries multiple levels of meaning which are intricately connected with the villagers' notion of sexuality, fertility, life and death. In short, the festival embodies a performance of life and our documentary intends to capture it.
Aravan Kuthu, Performance of Life, follows an anthropological approach and we plan to start the principal photography in October this year. We hope that the dog co-production market will assist us in materializing this project. Thank you.
May we have the director and the producer on the stage, please?
Good afternoon, everyone. Hope you have got a sense of the Aravan Festival or Kuvagam Festival. Actually, we haven't started our production yet, and all the audio-visual materials that you have seen were just research materials used for my academic study. So, with this festival, the village Kuvagam has become one of the few places where alternative sexualities are accepted and acknowledged. So, this inclusivity finds its root in the festival rituals, practices, performances, and the culture and tradition of the village. All these elements play a very crucial role in accommodating trans women and other LGBTQI community in the festival and nurturing a very positive attitude towards them. As we have mentioned in the video page, a very key feature of the festival is that trans women engage in sexual union with men after a ritual called Tali Kattudal, meaning tying the nuptial knot. So men from various places coming for this sexual encounters, and after nightfall, the paddy fields, roadside and the backyards of the village are filled with numerous trans women dancing and singing erotically to gain the attention of men. And most of them receive money from men after negotiation. So their negotiation, loud laughter and indistinct moans of pain and pleasure characterize the night of the 15th. And these sexual encounters is actually considered as a demand of the ritual. And even the state permits it by providing them protection and encouraging safe-sex practices through distributing condoms free of cost. So, the festival plays various beliefs, struggles, sorrows, lust, desire, marriage, widowhood, life, death, and sacrifices. So, this living tradition is intertwined with the villagers' aesthetics of existence, and this aesthetics of existence embrace trans women and other LGBTQI communities, respect them and accord value and dignity to their lives. So their participation in the festival cannot be understood without having a profound understanding of these rituals, stories and practices that possess multiple meanings and inner layers. So our documentary Aravan Kuthu, Performance of Life, intends to go deep into unravel those inner layers and capture the essence of the festival. So now we seek assistance from producers and production companies to materialize our project, and we also thank NFDC MIF Dog Co-Production Market to give us this platform to pitch our project. Thank you.
Next we have Baichang, story of India's football legend, directed by Karma Takapa and produced by Anadi Athalle and Arfi Lamba.
Hi, my name is Karma Takapa. I'm a filmmaker from Sikkim. After graduating from the Film and Television Institute of India, I've directed independent films that are premiered at festivals around the world. Currently, I'm working on a documentary feature film based on the life of Indian football legend Baichang Bhutia. Born to farmer parents and coming from a very small village in Sikkim, Baichung, for almost 2 decades, made an unimaginable climb to the pinnacle of Indian football. He became the only recognized face in Indian football. He was the captain, the poster boy, and a beacon of hope for every Indian football fan. But Bhaichung's glittering footballing career also came with its large share of challenges. His career was layered with discrimination, disappointments, and controversies. For long, he was touted to open up the possibilities for Indian footballers to play at the world level, but it didn't happen. Indian football had a great player who just could not make it at the world stage. Why was India's best not good enough? This question has plagued Indian football for a very long time. A closer look at his struggles reveals the larger problems that has infested the sport of football in India. While the entire country is driven by the cricket craze, the northeast of India has always been a hub for football. This documentary explores the years of apathy along with a larger sense of discrimination and alienation towards the people from the northeast. This has led to a lot of talent not being appropriately nurtured. As a sports lover and an avid football fan, I've always been bothered by the thought of how the most populated country in the world has never been able to produce a world-class footballer or compete at the World Cup. All of this has inspired me to document the story of Bhaichung because he is a true embodiment of an underdog who has fought through incredible prejudices of his times with sheer resilience and determination. His story also aligns with my commitment to create narratives from the perspective of the underrepresented communities that I too am a part of. In this context, I believe that Bhaichung's story has the power to resonate with a large audience and to bring about a positive change in the world of Indian football and beyond.
Hi, I'm Anadi. I'm producing this film along with our producing partner Arfi Lamba. We are in Film Bazaar looking for co-producers, sales companies, sports broadcasters and funds. The budget for the film is $626,000. We have to shoot parts of the film in the UK as well. We also bring a 30% cash rebate on the table on qualifying production expenses in India. Our research is at an advanced stage. We have Bhaichung's life rights and we can begin pre-production as soon as the financing is in place. We look forward to meeting you here. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Anadi. This is Arfi. I'm the producer and the editor of this film. I've been associated with many documentary films as an editor, and one of my recent films called Borderlands, whose director is also here, won National Award for Best Editing last year. So we had Bhaichung's story is the story of an underdog who comes from a very small village of Tinkitam in Sikkim, and he rose to such prominence. For those of you who would probably have lived through Bhaichung's pinnacle of his career would probably relate to this. And so our purpose of telling this story is to follow a story of this underdog where he reaches, he sort of climbed to such a high success, and even after climbing to that high success, something happened, and India's best footballer couldn't crack the world stage. And our film, through this, also explores not only Bhaichung's life, which is inspirational, but also tries to examine what went wrong with Indian football and what still ails it. Because as you must, if you're following football, you must know that we are one of the nations which follows football very, very avidly, and still, we don't have an Indian player of that stature who can compete, or for that matter, our Indian national team also is not able to qualify the World Cups. So, yeah, basically that is it in a nutshell. The director of the film couldn't be here. Unfortunately, Sikkim has had really bad rains and he couldn't catch his flight. Otherwise, he would have been here to answer more questions. Arfi, you want to say something?
The primary aim of the documentary says that if there was a fan wall for football, India would be, in terms of fanship, would be really out there. But when it comes to FIFA and being a team, we are pretty far behind. Through Bhaichung's life, we want to track why we are not there. What is it that is ailing the sports in India? What is it that, why every other sport other than cricket is a step sibling of cricket, and that's the primary aim. And Bhaichung's life is, we all know, he's a legend for all of us, and in tracking that, we hope we find some answers. And we are looking for partners, we are looking for broadcasters, we are looking for financiers. We are talking to some international co-producers to make it an international co-production. That's how we're trying to tap into India rebate system also. And we are there at the co-production market. Come and meet us. We'd be happy to answer any questions. Thank you. See you. Thank you.
Next we have Bhalu Agai, The Bears Are Here, directed by Naman Saraiya, produced by Agastya Bhatia.
Hi, my name is Naman Saraiya and I'm a filmmaker born in Calcutta and based in Mumbai. Our project is titled Bhalu Agai, which translates to The Bears Are Here in English. The documentary is set in a remote village 100 kilometers from Raipur, the state capital of Chhattisgarh, and round about the temple of Chandi Mata. Through this documentary, we as filmmakers want to explore the coexistence of sloth bears who are native to the region and visit this temple in search of food, much to the wonder of a lot of the devotees and those who live around the temple. However, most of this intrigue is raised amongst three protagonists: the temple priest, a forest officer, and our wildlife photographer.
Sloth bears in their natural habitat, they are really curious. They are known to forage for food and venture into human habitation. The interesting thing, however, is that they've not tried to restrict bear activity in these temples.
The sloth bears, almost daily visitors to the temple, share a unique bond with the temple priest, who kind of takes them to be reincarnation of the cursed devotees.
So for one, the priest's relationship with the bears cannot be romanticized, I feel. The way he accesses the bears is through the goddess.
The forest guard, on the other hand, is way more pragmatic and understands why this phenomenon seems to be taking place.
Who was the forest guard there? He asked the bear to show him his paw, and she literally did, being a wild bear.
Oh, a wildlife photographer who is setting out to photograph this unique phenomena, being Muslim by name, must protect his identity to be able to gain complete access to the temple grounds. Herein is where lies the conflict of O's eagerness to express himself and raise awareness of this phenomena, of religious sentiments that the temple priest represents, and the pragmatism that the forest officer might bring to this entire scenario. One, of course, cannot discount the role of the sloth bears in this, who couldn't care less and just want a quick snack.
The devotees seem like mesmerized or excited. And someone might just come to you and say, Bhalu aata hai na? Kitne baje aata hai? You'll have these kind of characters.
The visual language and style of Bhalu Agai will be a mix of wide, static, photograph-like frames, observing life as it happens and unfolding in front of us. I'd like to intercut this with jarring and chaotic wildlife footage that remind you of a wildlife documentary on Nat Geo. The film will heighten this experience of the story with off-camera audio motivation, intricate sound design, and perhaps absurdity that will be heightened through this treatment. Using dry humor, observation, and wit, Bhalu Agai looks to subvert the lines between fact and fiction, set against the themes of religious tolerance, cultural sensitivity, and wildlife conservation. As a filmmaker, I hope to enhance the story through the absurdity and a sense of humor, and I hope you'll be able to see it the same way that we are envisioning this film.
May we have the director and producer on the stage, please?
I don't think we have much to add beyond that pitch, except the bit that about humor. I find that invariably documentaries tend to take themselves way too seriously, and there's a sort of tendency to be very David versus Goliath all the time. And I just want to, with this, try and experiment and inject a sense of humor into this entire scenario, because everyone who seems to visit the temple seems to find this phenomenon to be really funny, and the access point we have through our photographer, he also finds this entire scenario to be like extremely unique and funny. And that's how we were sort of introduced to this entire world. I guess that's the only addition I want to make. Outside of that, we're here to obviously meet co-producers and potential funders and hopefully kickstart this journey once the monsoons are done. Yep, thanks.
Do we have any questions from the audience for the project representatives? Any question?
Any questions? The bears aren't paid actors, I can tell you that.
So if not, then we have a question for you, team. So, like, can you shed some light on the financing and budgeting of your project, and what do you want the audience to feel after, like, watching your project, after knowing about your project?
Well, financing is right now my bank account and Agastya's bank account. But we'd like not, that to not be our sort of sense of funding.
So, we are looking to raise 140,000 USD. We are self-financing about 30% of the film. The wildlife expert has done multiple visits to the location. We have been researching and developing the film for a while now. So yeah, I think that's the financing part of it. We are looking for co-producers here, people who we can collaborate with. I think on the feeling part of it, maybe
Yeah, I think we have so many such temples in India, ones that snakes sort of inhabit or monkeys like in Shimla. This one, there's footage available where the bears come and hug the temple priest, and when I saw that, I was just like, chai ho raha, like, it's one of those sort of things, right? And the fact that this priest is buddies with these bears. In fact, when we first saw the pictures, we thought that it was a person dressed up in a bear costume. And the other day I showed it to someone, they were like, this is like a gigantic dog. And I was like, well, yeah, I mean, the whole sense of amusement, as you can hear in my voice, I want people to walk away with that feeling, where it almost feels like surreal and unreal when you narrate something like this to someone. But yeah, so like I explained, maybe a portion of the film, it would be nice to treat it like an episode of The Office or something, where it's like, can you believe this is really happening? A little bit of quirk injected would be kind of really good. So yeah.
And I think not only just that, I think the film lies at a very interesting intersection of the socio-political issues as well. And if we can communicate that through humor and a little light-heartedness, I think that's the feeling we would want to sort of...
Because our photographer, there's a reason we've not mentioned his name to protect his identity, but also when he visits a temple, he has to kind of semi-fake his identity so that perhaps he won't get lynched because of his name. So that, if we address those kind of existing issues that perhaps we are currently plagued with in our country, with a sense of humor, and hope to find that resolution on camera, without probably offending too many people, but hopefully through the lens of humor, I think it will be a great win in the journey of the film.
Thank you.
Yeah, if anyone has any questions, we'll be around here.
Next we have Himalaya Ki Peeth Par. Our Home is in the Hills, directed by Arun Fulara and produced by Arun Fulara and Tanya Negi.
साइड आपके गांव का जो लंबा वाला है उसके बाद एक और ऊपर से दिखाई दे रहा है। हाँ वही लेफ्ट साइड तो अभी 5 किलोमीटर आज वही तो हाँ वो नया क्या उसको क्या बोलते हैं वो मालीघाट नदी में काटा ऐसे बैठ गया लेफ्ट साइड और ये अभी भी धस रहा है जैसे ये आर्मी का प्रेसिडेंट बरसाली बैठ रहा है इतना गैप कर रहा था मैंने यात्राएं हमें मनुष्य बनाती हैं, यात्राएं हमें संवेदनशील बनाती हैं, यात्राएं हमें बड़ा करती हैं। वो हर बार हमें हमारे छोटे होने का भान देती है। ये जो यात्रा है ये उत्तराखंड के समग्र चित्र को समझने का प्रयास है। हमारा आर्थिक, सांस्कृतिक, सामाजिक, पारिस्थितिक, हमारे जीवन के और तमाम पक्ष जैसे आपदा, जैसे आउट माइग्रेशन, यहाँ से जो प्रवास हो रहा है, जैसे शिक्षा, जैसे चिकित्सा, जैसे संचार, तो इन सब आयामों को हम देखने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं।
Dr. Shekhar Pathak and his team of activists and academics have been walking the hills of Uttarakhand for the last 50 years. inspired by Sundarlal Bahuguna and the Chipko movement, they have been mapping this environmentally critical region once every 10 years. We are extremely honored to be walking alongside Dr. Shekhar Pathak and his team as they traverse through more than 350 villages, walk over dozens of rivers and through multiple valleys. This region has been facing the wrath of environmental degradation over the last few decades due to mega projects and massive construction. Over the last few years, the impact of climate change has only exacerbated this environmental degradation. Through this documentary, we hope to bring out stories of the challenges that the people of this region face, as well as the resilience of communities in the face of these monumental challenges. Hi, I'm Arun. I'm the director of this documentary, and we hope to find like-minded partners and collaborators to help us in this journey, to help bring out these stories to the larger world.
Hi everyone. Thanks to the technical glitch, you all could see this footage, twice.
A second time.
Yeah. I'm Tanya. I am the producer. This is Vikas.
I'm also the producer. So there's Tanya, Vikas, and Sharib, my production partner. We have a company called Khan and Kumar. Arun, the director of this documentary, came to us. We've produced 2 of his short films earlier. And when he told us the subject, we immediately came on board. Of course, environment and whatever's happening to it is relevant not just to the region where it's being shot, to India, to the world, of course. For us, it's closer home. She's from there. Arun Fulara, the director, is from there. The DOP is from there. And 2 of us producers, Sharib and I, studied there. And a lot of the places where it's being shot, Sharib and I, we've been there on picnics, on midterm camping, and to see what's happening to the region. Just last year, we saw, we know Joshimath is sinking. And Joshimath is a place where we've gone camping. So yeah, I see this more like an opportunity to bring to light whatever's happening to the region.
Yeah, so as all of you could see that this documentary is about Uttarakhand. It is about a yatra which happens in Uttarakhand called the Askot Alakot Yatra. This yatra, basically yatra means journey. This is a journey taken by civilians. It's a civic movement which starts from one part of Uttarakhand and ends at other. These people walk around 1100 kilometers on foot regularly for 45 days, living with the villagers, staying with the villagers, living with the indigenous communities. This documentary is like having a voice to the people who don't have access to internet, who don't have their identity, and still are the first one to face the wrath of the environmental degradation. So for us, the documentary is very close because I'm born and brought up, as he already said. So this documentary is basically, the yatra is like a thread from which you just enter into the world of Uttarakhand, and then there are stories of people, and there are multiple stories, funny stories, stories that can actually emotionally, it will just wreck your heart. And it is a land where women hold, 50% of legislation, but at the same time there are women who are selling marijuana for basic livelihood. And it is a place where the boys have, amazing bikes, but at the same time, some boys are not even, able to go to the basic, get a basic education. So, we can go on and on, but yeah, this documentary is very close, and I think it's very important for all of us to understand that the climate change is really big, and all of us should, because all of us understand the value of community, so all of us should get together and do whatever we can as filmmakers and producers and writers.
And we are here the next 3 days. Please feel free to come and ask any questions. Thank you.
So next we have Kalari, the martial art of female power, directed by the duo Satinder Singh Bedi and Maria Gaur Bedi, and produced by Esther Van Messel.
Hi, I'm Maria Corbelli. I'm an award-winning film director. This is Satinder Singh Bedi, an award-winning film director, and my husband and partner in creativity.
Okay.
So we're working on our new documentary project.
It's called Kalari, in which we trace the lives of 3 bold female Kalari practitioners, and Kalari is the oldest martial art in the world.
And the underlying topic of the film is violence against women. So we went on an extended research shoot, we edited a trailer, and here you can see.
പത്രവാർത്തകൾ ടിവികൾ ചെയ്താൽ നമ്മൾ എന്തെല്ലാം കേൾക്കുകയും കാണുകയും ചെയ്യുന്നത് നമുക്ക് സഹിക്കാൻ പറ്റാത്തത് കൂടുതൽ ഇപ്പോൾ കുറഞ്ഞ കാലം വേറെ പലതാണ് കേൾക്കുന്നത്. അപ്പോൾ ഞാൻ ഏത് സ്റ്റേജിൽ പോയാൽ ഞാൻ പറയാം പെൺകുട്ടികളാണ് കളി പഠിക്കേണ്ടത്. അവർക്ക് മാനസികമായും ശാരീരികമായും മറ്റൊക്കെ പോകാൻ വരാനൊക്കെ ധൈര്യമാണ് കളി പഠിക്കണം.
അതിനൊക്കെ സ്ത്രീകൾക്കൊരു മെനക്കെടുത്തൊക്കെ മാർഷൽ ആർട്സ് കളരി കരാട്ടെ ഏതായാലും പഠിച്ചിരിക്കുന്നത് വളരെ നല്ലതാണ്. കളരി പഠിച്ചതുകൊണ്ടാണോ അറിയില്ല, കുറച്ച് ധൈര്യമൊക്കെ ഉണ്ട്.
I have friends who work as journalists. Every day they have at least reports of less than 16, 17 rapes. And they have to pick and choose, which is the most brutal one. The condition is that bad because they cannot put out news of 17 rapes happening, because then their entire journal, entire web portal will be only about rapes. Resisting patriarchy has never been an easy task.
And we are looking for OTT platforms, TV channels, and producers, co-producers for our film, and we can get in touch with our representative and through our get in touch with us.
Yeah, and we are Spirited Hearing Productions.
Hello everyone, I am Malavika Vinny and this is Sulfat Leila. We are here to represent the film Kalari. It's directed by the Bedi duo, Satinder Bedi and Maria Kaur, and it's currently produced by their company, which is titled as Spirited Heroines, as well as First Hand Films. Kalari, as some of you might know, has a recorded history of 1700 years in South India. The first reference to it is in this obscure Tamil text called Purannannuru, where you have a tiny reference to one combat mode called as Pillai Tani. And from there, from the medieval period onwards, from the 14th century onwards, we have several references to Kalari as a living tradition. One of the long-standing false narratives about Kalari is the fact, is this idea that it's a Hindu martial art form. But if you look at the Keralite tradition of Kalari, you would see Muslim men and Muslim women practicing Kalari. You would see hijab wearing women who are Kalari practitioners and Kalari trainers. You would see Christian men and women practicing Kalari. You would see subaltern castes who have Kalari grounds in their homes. So it is one of those truly pluralistic traditions that we have. And in the documentary, we are trying to map the lives of these 3 protagonists who Maria refers to as spirited heroines. Arushi, who is a 9-year-old kid who started learning Kalari from 3 years of age. And she is, and it's an open, free-flowing approach that the Bedi duo takes towards documentary making. So we dwell into the fact that Arushi has anger management issues. We also tell the story of Melina, who's a 21-year-old woman who is a Kalari trainer herself, but is also resisting patriarchy in her own ways because there's a pressure on her to settle down and get married and not practice Kalari anymore. And then we also have Reshma, who's also our translator. And she is the one who sort of weaves together the thread of the stories, of the many stories of the many women and the difficulties and challenges that they face together. In it, I must emphasize that the project does not advocate Kalari as the means through which women empowerment, women resistance should be addressed in India. We're not looking to beat up men through Kalari. That is not what we are advocating. But we're looking at Kalari through the prism of caste and through the intersectional lens of gender, class and caste, and trying to look at the kind of contradiction that we have in India, where on the one hand, you have literally thousands of young girls and women who practice Kalari, who have acquired the skills of that martial performing arts, but at the same time you have gendered violence, and how we have this potpourri of resistance and feminine agency on the one hand, as well as multiple forms of patriarchies, and how women resist those patriarchies through their everyday engagements. So the bottom line, as one of our colleagues here mentioned, is to portray women not just as vulnerable victims, but as active agents of resistance and change. Thank you. We are looking for, so we have secured 4/5 of the funding for the film. We are looking for the last 1/5 of fundings. We are also looking for OTT platforms or co-producers for the movie. Please feel free to reach out to either me, Malavika, or Sulfat if you are interested in the movie, or if you have any other queries about the documentary. Thank you.
Next we have Lam Hodong, a street cat, an animation project by young filmmaker Trishul Yumna and produced by Yashu Sharma.
Hello, my name is Trishul Yumnam and I'm a coming filmmaker from Manipur, Northeast India. The title of my film is called Lam Hodong, a street cat. The story is about a pet cat called Tombi who gets lost in the streets of Imphal and ends up among a group of street cats. One day, Tombi proposes to pull off a heist in one of the biggest markets in Imphal, known as Imam Market, promising that the street cats will never have to go for hunting for fish ever again from human households, which was very dangerous for them. But Tombi has another plan to find his way back home through Imam Market, as his human's home lived nearby. In order to pull this off, Tombi realizes that he has to convince all the street cats to work together as one, as they have been divided amongst themselves in small factions and they all fight for themselves. It eventually falls under Tombi's hands to bring the street cats together, proving himself to be more than just a good thief, but rather a worthy leader. The film explores about how one would live by themselves once they lose everything that they have taken for granted in their daily lives. We hope to make Tombi and the cats iconic and memorable and create a large fandom like Japanese films such as My Neighbor Totoro. The film will be animated entirely in 2D digital drawing. The research and development team will be required to go to the real location and interact with the spaces and the native people for us to create a much more believable and relatable experience of Manipur. This can be achieved by using 3D assistive technologies like motion capture and 3D scans of the real-world locations. The project is currently in pre-production stage. We want to complete the early pre-production stage in around 2 months and work on the animatics and sound design in 3 months. We want to complete the production of the film in 9 to 10 months and finish the post-production in 3 months. We're expecting production budget from interested investors and we would like to make profit for them also. Thank you.
Hello. So I guess everyone has a glimpse about Tombi through what we have shown right now. So first of all, I would like to thank NFDC for this wonderful experience and my parents who are supporting me through this journey. I'm Trishul Yumnam, the director of Lam Hodong, and this is Yashovanta. He's the producer of this film. So first of all, Lam Hodong is an feature-length animated film. Through this film, we would like to show a whole experience of Manipur through the lens of a cat. And the start of the film starts from one of the most important festival in Manipur, and then which happens in January. And then by the end of the film, we ended with one more festival, which is called Nimol Chakova, and it ends in November. So the entire timeline of the film goes from January till November, which is like a full year of experience. So throughout this, we want to show the culture of Manipur, how the people live there, their experience, their difficulties in life, and also the locations and important places there through the eyes of the cats.
Does anyone have any questions for them? Okay, so we have a question for you. So, how do you think the visual design will enhance the storytelling or amplify the emotions in your project?
So regarding that, this entire film, we wanted to be presented in a very entertaining manner. There will be lots of humor and full of emotions and humor. And we don't want this film just as information of the place. Through the visuals, emotion, and even music and all, we want to give an experience to the audience about this little place called Manipur. And we're hoping so that once they watch this film, they would like to experience such culture.
Thank you. So next we have Legend of Abaka, directed by Cyrus Kambata and produced by Satavesha Bose and Mohan Nadam.
Hello, I'm Cyrus Kambata, a filmmaker from Mumbai. My docu-feature, Legend of Abaka, explores the legacy of an awe-inspiring 16th century warrior queen from coastal Karnataka whose story remains untold in our history books. Rani Abaka of Ular fought to defend her tiny kingdom against Portugal, the most mighty European imperial superpower nation of that time. When even Akbar the Great had to pay a tax to the Portuguese to allow his ships to trade across the Arabian Sea, Rani Abaka refused to bow down to their demands. She is known to have set ablaze an armada of 14 cannon-bearing Portuguese warships using the Agnivana of fire arrow deployed from a motley collection of fishing vessels. Abaka's story is also one of progressive ideals. Her husband, who was the king of Mangalore, sided with the Portuguese, so Abaka defied tradition and divorced him. The children stayed with the mother. Moreover, Abaka attacked the Portuguese garrison that was stationed at Mangalore and drove them out. Abaka was a progressive feminist even before this concept existed. And also, Rani Abaka was a giant queen who ruled over a diverse mix of Muslims, Hindus and Christians. The Portuguese made many attempts to sow religious discord among her subjects, but somehow their tactics never worked under Abaka's inspiring rule. Rani Abaka was a secularist even before this concept was invented. Only in the year 2017 did the Indian government finally recognize Rani Abaka as India's first woman freedom fighter. But I have certain technical issues with that, because how can Rani Abaka be called a freedom fighter when she was never colonized in the first place? Rani Abaka's kingdom of Ulal never fell to the Portuguese, and therefore the Portuguese could not expand their colonies beyond Goa. Had Abaka failed, then the history of the world post-16th century would have been drastically different. For all you know, we Indians would probably be speaking in Portuguese. It is so heartbreaking that Rani Abaka's amazing story remains largely unknown. But when history ignores great heroes, they become legends. And that is exactly what happened with Rani Abaka's story. Rani Abaka's legacy has been preserved by the folk theatre traditions of Yakshagana and Bhutakola, where the performer/devotee goes into a trance and becomes a medium for the queen to communicate her message to the audience, thus elevating her to the status of a goddess. The message is that of fighting oppression, women's empowerment, upholding secular values, and love for the motherland. Ideas that were embodied by Rani Abaka 500 years ago and still relevant to this day. Our documentary plans to incorporate this traditional folk theatre as the cornerstone around which the rest of the story is explored. We also plan to interview and involve all of those who hold a stake in keeping Abakka's legacy alive, from naval historians to village elders. We have a lot of research material already in place and would love to tell you more. Looking forward to meeting you in person. Thank you.
Can we have team on stage, please?
My name is Satavisha Bose and Cyrus is here with me. I am also joined by our producing partner Mohan sir, who's feeling somewhat shy to come up on stage. I mean, the light actually shone so bright on the Cannes red carpet when his film Shameless won. So anyway, so I just want to add a few things that was a little bit difficult to probably incorporate so much into the pitch, because Cyrus is an excellent editor. He started off his career as an editor, so he tried to put in a lot. It's just that it is not just a mere historic document, because the legend, it is called Legend of Abakka because a lot of her story is sort of lost, and it is through these, the folk theatre traditions that is preserved. So there is a lot of opportunity to myth building, and we look at it as a documentary with a lot of hypnotic visuals, and we are writer, directors of fictional content and advertising. So we also want to see how the myth builds along with also the historical documentation that is there. So there is a sort of objectivity that is available. At the same time, there is a personal lens of how the myth and of the legacy, the story that can go forward. And it's not that difficult actually, if you think about it, because there are stories where they say that there were 3 queens and some people say there are 4 queens. So the story is, the myth is building itself in a way. So we want to explore that. At this stage, we have a lot of research material because practically everyone we've spoken to has told us, why don't you make a series? Why don't you make a feature film? So we have a lot of material with us, and it is at a very advanced stage of development, and we are looking for funds and co-producers to come on board. Want to add something?
I don't know what more I can add, but let me tell you, the first time I heard about Rani Abakka, I was a little kid in school, and I used to go to this comic book seller, and even he had no idea how this comic came into his shop, and he was like, what is this? Who is this Rani Abakka? So, and the moment I opened it, it was like like an adrenaline of visuals which I'd never seen before, because there were like Portuguese knights and there were Arabian horses, and so a lot of exotic and heroic story about this queen. And like, I really feel sad that nobody knows much about her. And my heart has always been for underdogs, and I really want this story to come out to a larger audience. So one of the main things that we decided was that we will make a documentary, we will use a little bit of dramatization, and we will make it as entertaining and informative also at the same time. But much more in the entertaining part, we'll be using music, we'll be using AI generated visuals, a lot of mixed media. So we don't know exactly what we are going to present eventually, but we know that our idea and our heart is in the right place to do this so that Abakka's story can be famous. And right now all we have are 2 statues and 1 naval ship named after her. And the fact that she is India's first woman freedom fighter is also it's a little bit debatable. But still, I mean, it's a little too less. And it is so strange also that a movie was supposed to come out yesterday called Abakka in a Kannada movie. I mean, I've been listening to this news since a long time, but I don't know where the movie is also right now. So it's really something that is going to come eventually, I don't know when, and I hope that it gets done and deserves the kind of fame that it really deserves.
Next we have a project from Russia, Romancing the Dance, directed by Sergei Devizer and produced by Anesthesia.
Hello, I'm Sergei Devizev, a cinema director from Russia. My career history contains over 30 documentary and fiction films. Our film company is the foremost expert in the field of documentary cinema. All our films are prize winners at various film festivals. My latest film, The Holy Archipelago, received 49 awards in Russia and around the world, including 4 awards in India. In 2023, it became highly successful and was acquired by the major streaming platforms. The idea of our film Romancing the Dance seems quite pertinent to me in light of the new level of relations between our countries. It's a story of Anna Pavlova's fateful encounter with Uday Shankar. Few people know that the world ballet star Anna Pavlova was a key figure in the revival of traditional Indian classical dance. She was fascinated by Indian culture, and in 1923 she got acquainted with a young artist, Uday Shankar. Their creative partnership became the starting point for the revival of dance in India. The inspiration and experience Uday gained working with a great dancer made him a true master, the progenitor of Bollywood dance school. It was Pavlova who encouraged Shankar to look into his Indian heritage and draw inspiration from the treasure trove of his own culture. It is strange how this chapter of history still remains mostly unknown to both Indian and Russian audiences. This is why I got interested in this story. Our film speaks to the hearts and souls of people, to those who love ballet and Indian dance. The creative dialogue between our great cultures will show the world that art and beauty know no boundaries. The footage you see was shot for one of our previous projects. We have a professional team and we produce at an international level of quality. For our film Romancing the Dance, we plan to engage stars of Russian ballet and Indian dance. A significant part of the film will be shot in India, so we're going to invite consultants and some of the crew members from India. The total budget of the film is $500,000. We already have half of the sum, a grant from the Ministry of Culture and the Russian private investors' funds. At Doc Film Bazaar, we're looking for the Indian production part, co-funding and distributors for the Indian market. I know India well and I love it. I've been here many times. I hope we'll be able to tell this amazing story to the whole world. Thank you.
Namaste. My name is Anastasia Voskresenskaya. I'm a producer from a Russian film company called Two Captains, and it's a great pleasure for me to address such fantastic audience. And I would like to thank organizers for this opportunity. So I would like briefly to mention 3 points about this project. First, we believe that this film will be interesting both for Indian and Russian audience, but moreover, we believe that this project can be targeted globally because, as all you know, there are millions of people who love Indian dance and classical ballet all over the world. So we can target this project and have a distribution in many countries.
Project we have is Through a Broken Glass, directed and produced by Madhu Mahankali.
Hi, I'm Madhu Mahankali from Hyderabad, India, the producer and director of this documentary Through a Broken Glass. Now, what prompted me to this subject is the extraordinary life journey of Dr. Chandra. When certain incidents happened in his life, Dr. Chandra was living in Canada, working as a scientist, happily settled with his family, his wife, and 2 children. His family was to travel to India during that phase for a vacation, and he was to join them a couple of weeks later. So that night, he went to the airport to see them off, but the very next morning, he got this devastating news that the flight in which they were traveling was blown up mid-air by terrorists, and there were no survivors. His life literally turned upside down in a matter of few hours. For many of us, even if we can't find an important document that we're looking for, or our car doesn't start when we're in a hurry to reach somewhere, we get upset and angry. But what would be the scenario when your dearest family vanishes into thin air, so to say, forever? So the aftermath of such a devastation has been a phase filled with suicidal thoughts, why me feelings, counseling sessions, group meetings with other surviving family members. So it's been an extremely difficult phase. From that position to come to a stage of finding purpose again, to rebuild from scratch by starting a small school for the underprivileged children in Andhra Pradesh, and also a hospital for the needy and poor. So this journey of Dr. Chandra has been very inspirational, worthy of greater study. Because this incident happened around 40 years ago, there is very little material that is available except for a few photographs of the family from that phase. There is a memorial which is built at the site where this Air India flight Kanishka crashed in Ireland. And every year there is a memorial service which is performed in the presence of family members and friends. In fact, I plan to start the opening scene there at the memorial site and move on to the rest of the story. I also wanted to connect these concepts to various ideas from different culture which resonate with the same theme. For example, the Japanese culture, where this concept of wabi-sabi, which is looking at the beauty even in the imperfect. And I do want to take a lot of concepts from Indian philosophy and Buddhist texts which talk about loss, impermanence, and transient nature of life. All in all, the idea is to probe into what makes one stand out and the other succumb after such a devastation. In short, it is a challenging journey which starts with the agonizing feeling of why me, to the final realization of why not me. Thank you.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. As I mentioned in the pitch, the idea is to connect Dr. Chandra's life to various concepts from different countries, different cultures, different lifestyles, and draw a bigger picture. So I wanted anybody who sees this film to feel a sense of peace and a sense of melancholy. And basically it's like drawing the bigger line. Again, then only you'll understand the size of the line that you're looking at.
आप देख रहे हैं डीडी भारती।